Yo. What up, comiXsense crowd, community crew? We are back again with another episode of CSP, comiXsensory Perception. It's Friday night. We just got paid. I got Ian Michael. I got Rich Doesn't Read in the house. Later on, we'll probably be joined by the Comic Sams. Before we get into it, and everyone's going to shout out to you. What up, Peter Maresca? What up, everyone that's in the room? Before we get into it, I just want to say, look at the bottom. Want to keep the lights on. So like comiXsense on Facebook, follow comiXsense on Facebook, join our group, find us on YouTube, like a video, subscribe to the channel, find us on Instagram, check us out on the Twitter. What up to everyone in the room? What up, Peter Maresca? What up, Chris Leo? Shout out to the comiXsense community, Andreas Avalos. So Ian Michaels is going to scream at y'all. Rich Doesn't Read is going to scream at y'all. Then we're going to get into it.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing? How's everyone's evening been? Got some stuff to talk about. I know there's one thing in particular I know everyone wants to talk about, and I know Ian wants to quarterback this thing.
Listen. If the comic community industry is a room, then there isn't an elephant walked into the room a week ago. Ian, I'm sure you have something. I can see your face is red.
Ian
my face is
at the bit.
I've been chomping
what up,
at
Tim
the
Decker?
bit, but I almost feel like we're too late to the party because
we are not too late to the party for this. Not when I sent
we
you
make
that
our
picture.
own party, bruh.
I sent you that.
I don't know
picture.
about all the other people. We at comiXsense, comiXsensory Perception, we make our own party.
Once I saw what I saw on eBay, when I sent that picture to Ian, I had already known about what was going on with the thing with buying that thing, but the amount of money, if you want to call it fake or not, doesn't matter. The fact that the number still shows what it was, what people were bidding on this certain book.
All right. Let's not be obscure. First of all, we're going to talk about those bids, but let's not be obscure. Ian, tell us what it is.
Yes.
Break it down.
So
what are you drinking, by the way, Ian? What's everyone drinking?
This is just water today.
Water, old fashioned,
apple vanilla tea.
Huh? Fun.
Nice.
All right. So what we are talking about is we are talking about Ultimate Fallout 4, the facsimile edition with a stapled on acetate cover.
The Black Flag exclusive. And just to touch on what Ian said, I'm going to put it in my terms. Black Cape exclusive. Black Cape has bootlegged their own bootleg. Bootleg their own exclusive.
Yes, bootleg.
It's not a counterfeit. What they did was they took their own exclusive cover that did not sell or didn't sell to their expectations, and they reissued it with a new Clayton Crane cover. Go on, Ian.
Yeah, with misspellings and words that aren't words on it. So first off, Ish, you are a veteran. You know, I think it's very, very well documented. I come from a family where, my father honorably served for 20 years. My brother honorably served.
It is Black Flag.
Yes. So,
Shout out to Avalos Andres for the cranberry juice and vodka.
What's going on, everybody?
What a way to enjoy comiXsensory Perception. Cranberry juice and vodka.
I like it.
So, what really kind of grinds me to the core is, number one, the flag on the front, the way it's folded, there is red exposed, which everyone knows that when you fold a flag in that manner, red is not supposed to be exposed. Number two, if they were going to take this road, at least have a bit of the proceeds of the sales of the book go to veterans' causes.
A bit? You should have had, if you were to do it, you should have done a half.
You're going to make me rant. You're going to make me rant.
And controversy aside, really, that's what's kind of grinding me to the core this week about it.
Tim Decker with the Apple Jim Beam.
There we go.
So I want to speak about that really quick as a veteran. I often make a disclaimer when I speak as a veteran. Veterans, I don't speak for veterans. I speak as a veteran. I don't speak for veterans. Veterans can have their own opinion. Military members can have their own opinion. I'm willing to entertain all of their opinions. Everyone else's opinions when it comes to veterans or military members, they don't matter to me. And I'm not being a jerk about it. It's just a difference between living that particular life and being a civilian, and we make a difference, and it's kind of a mentality. My opinion is, and this is just my personal opinion, if this book, which the way this book was released seems to be disingenuous. I'm not saying Black Cape is doing anything disingenuous at all. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there was some controversy behind it because they weren't forthright with what they were doing with the book. There was a lot of backroom conversations. I'm not saying Black Flag is responsible, but if that's the case, as a veteran myself, I don't even want to attach to it. Like, I'm the type of person where it's like, listen, don't use a veteran's name to profit, to proliferate an idea, to proliferate an opinion. Don't use their plight. You don't go to the VA and buy them, spend $1 and buy them a cup of coffee. Like, this is where I'm at with it. Like, you're not showing up and you're not spending the time with some of these people, wounded warriors, what have you, right? You don't give $1 to you go to the VA, give $1 a cup of coffee. But people are very quick to use veterans to proliferate their political opinion. Whatever side of the fence it's on, they'll use a veteran's likeness, or they'll use the plight of a veteran to where the proceeds are going to go to. Well, if that's the case, and it's just my opinion, other veterans may have different opinions. It is my opinion. If you are going to use something that you are, we know how that flag is folded 2 ways. When we take the flag down, we fold it that way. Obviously, we give it to family members of soldiers who have died in combat, what have you. We know, we understand the folding of that flag. So it screams military. I don't care what they want to say. I don't care if they say it wasn't their intent, if they weren't trying to give the pros. I don't care. The folding of that flag is folded in a military manner. That's what it is. That's how we fold the flag. That's what it is. So that having been said, just to imply military or veteran on something, you don't have to. The book, you could do whatever you want with this book. You could take your cover off of your exclusive and put another cover on it. Tell the people what it is you're doing, like from the jump. And I'm not saying that they didn't. This is what it appears to me happened. Tell the people, and then you can associate it with wounded warriors, veterans, whatever you want. But from my personal opinion, if you're not going to be honest about it as a veteran, hard pass, pieces, bro. Anyway, that rant having been said, y'all can go on and speak your piece.
That's truly well said, though. And you're not wrong, because I feel like the military, the way that you fold the flag, it's a recognizable symbol. Like, everybody knows what that is, and when you fold it, there's a reason behind it. And sadly, you're getting it because of a fallen loved one, soldier, military member, police, law enforcement, whatever the case is. But it's a recognizable symbol of a fallen loved one that's obviously in the line of duty. And the fact that you're going to do it and not be forthcoming on what your true intentions are, I think rub people, truly the wrong way. And it
did me, but that doesn't mean it did other veterans. And again, other veterans are entitled to their opinion, and I respect their opinion. Absolutely.
And I totally respect that as well. And, everyone's valued to your opinion, of course. And I'm never going to be one to none of us here on this stream or anybody that's watching are ones that, at least that I truly believe, that are going to be one that going to argue your opinion. No, your opinion's wrong. Your opinion doesn't matter. I'm sure you have some veterans that might have not even taken back, that maybe felt some type of like real niceness towards it, that they felt.
Yeah, I'm sure there are plenty of veterans that are like, whatever. If there is any proceeds going to veterans, they're like, whatever, every dime helps.
Absolutely.
Because for real, that's the case.
Oh, and
I want to be clear and concise what we're talking about here. We're talking about Black Cape Comics Ultimate Fallout 4. Last year they released Black Flag. Okay.
It's Black
Last
Flag.
year they released an exclusive cover of a facsimile edition. This year they took the remainder of that exclusive cover. They removed the cover. They added a Clayton Crane acetate cover. This is not a counterfeit book. It is their exclusive. Certainly there is an issue whether it should exist because Marvel didn't approve it. Does Marvel have the right to approve it? Well, Marvel had the right to approve the original exclusive. They had to go into a contract with Marvel, and Marvel had to okay that original cover. Does this mean that now that they got the exclusive, they sold what they were going to sell of the original cover, that they can then take this book that they had to get approved by Marvel and change the cover? I don't know. I don't know if this is a legal issue. We know in court, the lawyer that tells the best story is the lawyer that is generally going to win. Like, I don't know. As it stands right now, they took their own exclusive cover, which they had approved by Marvel, removed the cover, added another cover, listed it for what, $85?
Yep.
Originally.
Now it is being shown, like on Key Collector, that it was an unauthorized move by them. It's unauthorized by Marvel, but still recognized by CGC though. So I don't know if, like in the original bit where maybe they had the idea of doing this and Marvel said yes, and then all of a sudden they went ahead and decided, we're going to add this extra fourth, fifth staple, what have you, add this acetate, and they just didn't get the last approval. I have no idea, but that's the last thing I had read that was on Key Collector, and the last thing somebody tweeted was that Marvel didn't give that all last authorization, and they still went ahead and did it anyway. And
so with this up to $23,000, last I saw, shield bidding or not. So this is what the chatter is in the back channels, is that this is troll bidding. No one's going to pay this price. What they're doing is what they did in the video game industry a couple years, 2 years ago, bidding these things. It's kind of like what happened with what happened when the people took over what was that IP that they took over, that trust fund. You know what I'm talking about, a couple years ago? Was it EB Games or?
Yeah, you're talking about AMC and EB Games. And
right. That's what's happening. No one, whoever wins that bid is not paying for that book.
No, not at all. Not at all.
GameStop, right.
$23,000? Come on.
Yeah, they're not paying. And there's several listings where that book is listed at that price. So the big controversy is supposedly several internet personalities or comic media personalities, comic influencers, if you will, were given preferential customer service in regards to this book.
They got to skip ahead in line.
Well, that's what I mean by preferential. Yes, they got supposedly.
That's the thing. Alleged. I've seen a few different videos talking about it, and some people say that they were given permission to do it by the event coordinator, like everything was fine, like they knew that was happening. But the people on the outside looking in, like us, general Joes, trying to buy the book, I can understand them getting upset and feeling some kind of way about it.
So the other thing is just the simple fact that no one is giving a straight story as to what actually happened.
No.
The influencers, the Black Flag Comics, so again, you can't get a straight story of what happened. Of course, you have people that were standing in line that have given, what they had witnessed, and it's not very hard to go and find the YouTube videos, but I mean, quite honestly, you're not getting a straight story out of any of these influencers. So, and of course, Black Flag Comics put a statement up saying that it was prearranged. A certain influencer, which we're not going to name names because we're not going to throw anyone under the bus here, had put that, that they stood in line and waited just like everyone else. And, and then she said she was buying copies for others. Like, it takes away from the people who are actually, they're paying to go to that event. They're just not an influencer. They're not just buying the books to toss them on Whatnot an hour later. These are people that are actually going to those cons to pick up those books. And I mean, by the way, did anyone think we were going to start out like not addressing that off the bat?
Right.
So, and as y'all saw last episode, I have a tendency to rant. What I'm not going to do is target a specific influencer.
No.
Not going to do any of that. I am going to say, because I've watched, I'm not familiar. I'm out of touch. What I do is I sit around and I study comic books. I read comic books. I follow the industry through the lens of the comic book. I'm not one of those people who sit around and watch social media channels. I have a Whatnot account. I'm rarely on Whatnot. I think I've only ever did one show. I don't watch Whatnot shows. I don't know who these influencers are. Many of them I just discovered this week. I don't know. My bad. I like what we do here at comiXsense. I'm kind of focused on what we do here at comiXsense. And one of the things that I don't like to do is follow other. I don't want to be influenced by other people. I want what we bring to the table to be our own unique thing. So I don't want to be indirectly influenced, subconsciously influenced by other people. So many of these influencers are people that I just became aware of recently, and people are like, "Ish, you don't know who such and such is?" Nah, bro. Yo, this person has like one of the dopest collections. Okay.
Okay. So what?
I know who Ian Michael is. I know who Rich Doesn't Read is. I know Christopher Leo or, Corey J. I know these people. Right? I don't know. These are the influencers to me, the people in the comiXsense community. And I'm keeping it real. I'm for real. I don't know these people. I've been invited to groups, tons of groups. I've been invited to be a part of communities. I'm good. I'm cool with it. I'm doing what I do. Oh, come over here, be a part of this. Oh, come, we could use your knowledge over here or what have you. Like, you guys know, And for me, it's like, I'm good. I'm going to pass on that because I'm trying to do what I do. I don't want to join the clique. I don't want to be involved in that aspect, any type of negative shadiness in the community. And I'm saying this to say, and I'm going to let you guys have the floor. I just want to say this. Somebody showed me a video this week. I'm not going to speak on the person in the video, but there was something that he said that has me feeling some type of way, and I'm going to talk about it. And Ian, it's kind of what you think, but it's not. It's what he said about spec and about speckers ruining the hobby. And I took umbrage with that. Not because I'm just a specker. Hold on. I want to get this out, bro.
Go ahead.
Not because I'm a specker, because I am. Not because the comiXsense community is about spec, because we are. But I'm a collector. And when you talk about this hobby, I've been in this hobby for 40 plus years. And I'm of the frame of mind. Like, first of all, whatever type of high horse you rode in on, it's the 21st century. You shouldn't even be riding a horse, bro. Like, for real. Like, you shouldn't even, like, this is what, I don't even get this. You're a retailer and a social media influencer, and you're saying, shout out to Comic Sam, who's now in the room. You're a retailer and a social media influencer, and you're saying that speckers are ruining the hobby while you're doing a video about an exclusive cover that the price is being inflated on. First of all, when we talk about this hobby, because it bothers me when you walk into a comic book store and the retailer takes all of the books off of the rack because he's worried about the flippers. It bothers me when the retailer limits the amount of sales or orders or pulls them for himself because he's worried about the flippers. Let me tell you what this hobby is made up of. It's made up of people that read. It's made up of people that collect. It's made up of people that spec. It's made up of people that want to make exclusive covers. It's made up of customers. It's made up of retailers. It's made up of readers. There is no one part of this hobby, no one contributor to this hobby that is ruining the hobby. This is why I call it the unfair market, though. Because when you have retailers and social media influencers who get out and they make apologist social media posts, YouTube posts, apologizing for the actions and the negative actions and practices of the unfair market, and you want to call speckers people ruin the hobby, and again, speckers are ruining the hobby, and you're talking about yet another exclusive cover that is designed for you to take advantage of custom. That's what the point of these exclusive covers are for. You're not selling them for cover price.
It's a money
man.
grab.
You know what? Let me let somebody else have the floor because I'll go on. I'll get, man.
So I mean,
I think
obviously,
I know what we're talking about. I think.
Obviously, I shared that video.
You did,
and I know, who it's from, and he did say something else in there, which kind of grew like another thing that just like infuriated me. He called all comic book collectors basement dwellers. So this is your audience, and you take it upon yourself to insult them, to stick up for part of your clique. And then they get upset when everyone starts unfollowing them because they're a bunch of liars and they're sticking up for each other. And, speckers and collectors are the enemy, but they have this, and I think I posted it in a comment that I put. I simply said, there's an old adage that says, you don't crap where you eat.
Yep. I mean, honestly, that's pretty much it. I mean,
unless you're a dog.
Yeah.
And then you're going to eat the crap. So, Corey James, I love the famous cop-out. if all of you were in that position, y'all would do the same thing.
Not at
really. Listen, I'm
Not at
so glad Corey said that, because, and I'm going to say this, everybody in this room, everybody in this community, everybody on this YouTube feed right now can attest to this. comiXsense that's not what we're about.
Nope.
That is not, we would not do the same thing. And I'm so glad Corey said that, because we absolutely would not do the same thing. Y'all know we about to toot our own horn, because this is comiXsense's channel. This is comiXsense's community. Why can't I toot? Like, why not? Right? Listen, we have such a problem with the unfair market. Are you serious? $85?
The only thing I'm going to say out of that,
for the influencers,
comiXsense, I'm going to tell you right now, the difference between them, what comiXsense does, is that comiXsense is going to go to cons and other places, Decepticon, things of what have you, and look for books at the cheapest price possible in perfect condition to be able to sell said books back to the comic book community
at the best value on an unfair market. Period. Every day of the week.
Every week, every chance that comiXsense gets, that's what we do. So for some people to sit there and say, and again, Corey, I love what Corey James said. That's not what comiXsense does. That's not what we do. And even individually, that's not what Ish, Sam, Ian, myself, Trope, that's not what we do. I know for a fact that I've seen, if there's books that Sam wants or Ish wants out of a shop and there's 20 copies of them, you're not buying all 20 of them. You're going to buy some, but you're still leaving some for the rest of the comic book community. And you're still, if you are selling the ones that you got, you're selling them at a fair to under fair value. So that way everyone gets a piece.
And
it's simple.
This is something that I always tell my LCS. Every time they pull like a big book and they put it out on display, there's part of me that wants to purchase that book every single time. But you know what I generally tell them? I say, as much as I would like this book, this is the kind of book that brings another customer into your store and gets them to continually come in and purchase from you. So, and
I don't have that mentality. I'm not on that
one. But and it's part of taking care of the community. Ish, you could attest to this. How many times have we do our own thing on Tuesday nights? How many times have there been books and I say, I don't want to take this book because I want it to be available for the people on our stream.
Yep.
Every
week.
And that's all I'm going to say, in regards to our Tuesday stream, because this conversation is not about it.
You know what?
So,
I have not paid overly too much attention to response videos, even Black Flag's response video. I started watching it and I go, I can't sit through this. So I'm not going to let anyone else's opinion on it influence what I think, right? I don't speak on behalf of comiXsense, but when I look at the situation, I guarantee you if they were selling those Ghost Rider acetates at the con this week, today, which they weren't, rumor has it they were selling them to the influencers again.
You mean Ultimate Fallout 4?
Not Ultimate Fallout 4, Ghost Riders.
Oh, the Ghost Rider PXs?
Yes, that's the acetate that they have, supposedly. But I don't know. I know some legitimate people who were in line for that book, and they did get multiple copies, right? They weren't promised anything. They bought them. They went to Whatnot because they're on there, and they put them up, right? Now, did they know that this was going to blow up and have such a backlash within the community? No. So what I don't like about the whole response is that based on what I know and people that I trust, they had no clue. They had no prior setup to, I'm going to get X amount of copies from them. They waited in line and whatever they could grab, they did. Now, I'm not saying that grabbing, the level of 75 copies is a right thing to do, And I agree with you, Ian. If you were in that situation, you would do the same thing. No, I wouldn't, right? I would probably grab a couple, 3 or 4 if I could, and be like, one's for me. I'll break even on this show. But 75 is a lot, and
there's no wrong thing to do, right? Nobody in this process,
moral call, right? The other thing, from a personal opinion, is that I've seen this stuff before, and it's not only you set up at a con, you go grab like, you know, and exclusives that you've talked to another company about. Like, this has been happening for forever. I think the reason why it feels different this time is because they all did go to Whatnot, and the influencers on there, they had a lot of copies, right?
Right.
But
So just to catch you up though, Sam, like we're not dissing the process at all.
No,
We're not, we're not at all. We're not like not bashing
well, I don't
the
agree with the
process.
process necessarily either, though, Ish. You know.
Well,
but this is something
questionable.
that has been done.
Right.
Like if I put an exclusive out, I don't know who's the company. I'm not going to name names, but you know that there's companies that put out exclusives, and then I'll go to Ian's comic shop and go, Ian, I'm going to give you 25 of these for a wholesale price so you can go sell these. Ish, I'm going to give you this wholesale price. Rich, I'm going to give that to you. Like, that happens every single day.
Yeah.
Okay. So as someone who has two exclusive covers, right?
Yeah.
Certainly, if I put out an exclusive cover with Red Room, I have 500 covers. I don't have a brick and mortar. I don't have 500 people in a given comiXsense stream. And my website, I have 2 websites, but I'm not actively using those websites. So 500 copies of Red Room. So absolutely, first of all, I love this comic community. We talk about this all the time. I'm for the customer. I'm for the retailer. I'm for the proliferation of this community. Absolutely. I would go to another retailer and give you a discounted price on however many copies of that book. What I don't want you to do is inflate the value of the book. I think a good cost, recouping cost, everything, I think a good cost for an exclusive cover is $15. That's generally, I'll never go higher than that, right? I could sell it for cover, but I'm recouping cost because I may not sell through these things. And it's going to cost me. I got to pay for plates. Like we could do a show and break down the process. I think a good price is $15. I would even go as low as 10. I'll never go higher on an exclusive cover. I don't care what it is.
The gripe that I've seen from people who are at the show, right, is that they stood in line and they waited and they got none because everyone else got mass quantities. You know what? That does suck. And it's a process that I don't agree with. Sadly, it is their book to do that with, which is garbage. But, you know, the process of retailers offering other retailers, you know, opportunities to sell a book in partnership, I don't think that's a bad practice. They also didn't dictate the resale of the market, though. You know, the buyers on Whatnot did, which made it even worse.
And hold on, I just want to make it clear. I just want to make it clear. When I say I think a good cost on an exclusive cover is $15, I mean translaterally. I mean, when we figured out what we were going to do for our exclusive cover for grading, we were going to charge $75 for a graded 9.8. And that just includes all of our costs, and we make $15.
Oh, Corey, is that what happened? Did they raise the price after the influence got theirs? That is crazy.
That is correct.
That's awful. That's awful.
Yes, you know, that's a horrible part right there. Like,
I don't know all the details around it. Based on the chats that I've been in, like I'm in a Whatnot chat that I believe you're a part of, right? Like, so you see some
Whatnot,
like the response.
I'm not in a Whatnot chat with you.
It's not a Whatnot official. It's Whatnot like community.
I'm not in that with you. Oh yes, we are.
Yeah, you invited me to it. Like,
I forgot because I'm muted. I'm muted. I'm muted it. Shout out to Whatnot. Shout out to Whatnot. Shout out to Whatnot community. I muted it because like you already know. How long did it take me to join the Discord? I'm so not.
Oh no, I know, but like
hip to like being involved with influencers, so to speak.
No, I get that. I mean, I wouldn't say none of that group is like the people who are involved in this, you know. If anything, we got the real from that group about how they feel about it. And I agree. Like, it's a terrible thing that I did not know that they raised the prices and they still had a short box left. Like, those are the practices that as we who like look to support the community and buyers.
Keep it rolling. I'll be right back.
Go against the unfair market, right? Those are the things that we raise a flag against. You know, I think it's going to change the industry and how people market their books and do what they do. Did we even get to the fact that it wasn't approved, and who the heck knows what's going to happen?
We talked a little bit about it.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, it probably wasn't approved, but you know, now you're giving the green light to any comic book company.
Yeah.
To go ahead and do this. I mean, and I don't think Marvel. I don't think Marvel.
Like, are they? Did they get a slap on the wrist? Are they not getting any future exclusives? Like, we don't know.
I was about to say they haven't said anything about it. And the last thing, and I had said it right before you got on, Sam, is that Marvel, and we talked about Marvel did approve it to a point, but then the last thing that was heard was that there was an unauthorized, approval by Marvel for this to happen, and Marvel wasn't cool with it, and not sure how it's going to happen. But yet CGC still authorized. That's one thing we haven't talked about yet is the CGC.
Oh my gosh.
The blue love. First off, I don't understand how you can call this a blue label when you're clearly affecting the book. You're adding. First off, you're adding another staple.
That should be a green label.
I don't understand that. It's a green label all day, and yet you're going to put a blue label on that?
Well,
that's screams shadiness so much.
The response
how baller is it? How baller was it for CBCS to come out?
I saw that. I'm glad
that book is nothing more than a 7.0 green label.
Sam, did you see what CBC released like last night, this morning? They released a statement about.
I didn't see that.
Can we put that on the screen by chance for the viewers to see that real quick?
I think Ish has to find it.
I was about to say if Ish gets that one, because I think they need to see that, because I'm glad that they came out and they were straight up. They were honest about it. And they were like, yeah, we would never call it what you think it is.
Did you see CGC's breakdown of the reasoning why on the CGC forums?
No.
About why they would grade it blue? It's because they said it's no different than a previous, acetate being added onto a cover. And do you know what they referenced?
Stray Dogs.
That's such garbage.
An officially published incentive book. Like, that is pretty crazy.
That's such trash.
And it just seems like, they're sticking to their guns on it, We'll see what happens with all the other ones that are out to CGC right now. Are they going to get green labels? Are they going to get returned? Like,
they might get green labels with all the backlash. Like, I'd be curious because there's so much heat from this.
It's crazy.
And I would be shocked. I would be shocked to see if CGC stuck to their guns and said, we're going to stick to blue labels because, that's what we're going to stick to, because that's what we originally said. God forbid that you call us liars. But the amount of influence, the amount of people, it just would make sense. You should backtrack, pump the brakes, slap a green label on it, call it what it is, and move on from it. You're adding an extra staple.
How mad would you be if you were that person that bought that 10.0 blue label?
All right, so just to be clear, they're not adding an extra staple.
Okay, but would you?
All acetates have 4 staples,
or would you?
But they are altering the cover.
Yeah, no, they're adding that cover and stapling it onto the book. Like, would you be mad if you have that 10 and all this controversy has turned it into arguably one of the most controversial and hottest things around? Like,
Ian said,
controversy creates cash.
As a buyer,
you get that book, you're closed.
Yeah, it's such an intriguing, sadly. And
it's going to be an infamous
situation
20 years down the road.
And book, right? Like, now I think there's going to be a flood of a ton to hit the market, so maybe you'll see it plummet in price.
Where there's a few 9.9s already.
There are.
There's the 10.0.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling it acetate gate, right?
I don't know.
It's got its own gate. It's got a gate. So there's always going to be interest.
The key collector entry was funny too.
And value on this book. There's always going to be value on this book.
Well,
there's always going to be.
Honestly, I think it's an interesting part of modern comic. The history of modern comics right now is continuously, being revamped and written with all the moves that not only the publishers have made, but what the retailers are doing in this space. And this is just another thing in the list of, all right, this is going to shape and change the market going forward. It's going to change what companies do going forward. It's going to change what retailers do going forward, and buyers. Like, who the heck knows what's going to happen? It's crazy. If I could get one for a reasonable amount of price, I would probably get it just to be like, this is interesting.
So I'm completely out on it
I know
personally, and there's things I'll just pass on.
Yeah.
That's one of them. Just gonna pass on that altogether.
What's reasonable though for this book?
$100.
Ish, are you able to pull up what CBCS stated this morning or late last night?
No, but you can paraphrase what they stated. That's the key collector entry. Let's see what they say here. C2E2 store exclusive, limited to 750 copies. Unauthorized edition, augmented with an acetate cover. Authorized publication without acetate cover. Originally went on sale September 2021. Unauthorized by Marvel, but recognized by CGC and graded with the Universal Standard Blue Label. Controversial due to accusations that exhibitors were given preferential opportunity to purchase unlimited copies ahead of general admission C2E2 convention attendees. According to Terapeak, ungraded copies on eBay have sold for $250 to $350. Original retail price for unauthorized edition, $85 for a majority of sales, then increased to $100 as inventory dwindled. It is new this week. Value analysis is not possible due to the volatility of bidding, retraction, and refunds resulting from community backlash surrounding this book.
There's a $2,600 sale on it, which was retracted, which is funny.
Well, all of those.
The trolling.
There's a 23. There's like $15,000 to $23,000 listings now that trolls are doing that. No, they're all going to get retracted. But this is the thing right here, right? And somebody mentioned in the comments, original retail price for unauthorized edition. $85 for a majority of sales, then increased to $100 as inventory dwindled.
Yeah, this is at an $85 price point.
This is that unfair market manipulation.
$85.
I don't want to knock anyone. I don't know who was selling it. I'm assuming the people who made it sell it. I'm just gonna say this is what I mean when I talk about the unfair market. This is a perfect example of it. No, when these people come out and say you would do it too, no, just because you do something that is morally corrupt and you justify it because you made a buck doesn't mean that everybody else is going to do that. Not everybody operates like that. Not everybody rocks like that. Not everybody gets down like that. Sorry.
So it's
I would imagine if I sold the bulk of my inventory, I could reduce the.
I was able to find out what CBCS what they posted, and it was literally yesterday what they posted. This is what they posted. Occasionally, facsimile covers are added to mainstream comics post-manufacturing. When CBCS receives said comics, our label reads, end quote, facsimile cover attached with 2 staples added. When the fake added cover is attached using 2 additional staples. We then grade the book as if 4 holes are going through the spine of a book, as you can always remove the fake cover and 2 staples that were added, leaving 4 holes as damaged. CBCS considers any cover added post-manufacturing as a facsimile cover, regardless of their origin.
Boom. I want to put up 2 comments really quick, 2 in a row. Shout out to Christopher Leo. You guys haven't done it yet, and we are not going to do it at all. Wilton Negrin, and this one, I want to speak on this really quick. My accountant said to me, Wilton Negrin says money is not worth your reputation. This. Listen, my accountant said to me some months back that there is an intrinsic, an intangible value that comes from your brand reputation.
Yep.
Would we be having the same conversation if they didn't give the preferential treatment, though? If it was unauthorized with an added acetate?
No, not at all. Because if it's been authorized, nobody would have said anything. The only thing you would have been hearing about is if an influencer jumped the line.
Well, the preferential treatment is the catalyst, because if the people who receive preferential treatment were able to buy bulk at an $85 price, and then Joe Blow had to pay $100 after the preferred customers received the better value, then we have the unfair market.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but it is
wiping the proverbial behind of the unfair market.
I guess what's the measuring stick for unfair on this? Besides, I think it's preferential treatment and changing of prices. But like, let's say it was $85 standard for an added acetate onto an exclusive that didn't move, They clearly had 750 copies left of an old exclusive that they just modified to create value and opportunity. Like, I think that's kind of crazy too. Like,
well, I don't, and I want to be completely unbiased across the board with my opinion on this, right? Because I wouldn't do it. It's not something that I would do. I don't think that these people went into this process with the intention of screwing anyone or doing anybody, wrong or anything like that. It depends, one, on how you value the art, right? How you value the art on that acetate cover, if they genuinely intended to donate money to whatever, which is a rumor. Like, all these things have to be factored in. And of course, we can never crap on the comic buyers community. We can't crap on the fact that somebody might be willing to pay $85 for that book or $250 for that book. They may value it that way.
We're valuing it really high. So, like, I feel bad for those people, the legitimate people who bought this book because they love Clayton Crane, because they were a fan of this coming out. And now look what's happened. Either the value is going to go in the toilet or it's going to skyrocket. It's going to be interesting, but they're going to be accosted anyways just for having it. And they're probably not even part of that group, or they bought it at a high. They bought it at $265 on an auction, Oh yeah, they definitely were trying to get rid of overstock. I mean, that trade dress is part of, like, you Google the trade dress and other shops still have it in stock. No problem.
So Chris Leo and Ish, thanks for putting this point up. Quite honestly, I think that's what they did. They just couldn't get rid of the inventory of their facsimile edition. And, this was the way to do it, to get rid of the overstock.
comiXsense would have bought it.
Kind of smart idea.
I mean, it's brilliant if that's what it is, right? I'm taking a $20 book that I retail for $20, and I'm going to add a $65 value minus my cost to get Clayton Crane to do whatever he's going to do, because you got to figure Clayton Crane probably wasn't cheap.
Probably.
No, he wasn't. But you're still making money though.
Yeah,
like, you're still going to be making money. Like, I get it. Like, if you're adding a $65 cost to your book,
I agree with
okay,
Sam.
so call it $40. Okay, you make $20 each book. Even if you're making $5, $10 each book, you're still making money off of what was just going to be dead stock sitting around doing nothing. And now all of a sudden you cause this huge controversy. Now this book is going to be infamous for what's happened forever. And down the road, this book will be, people are going to want that book, just for the simple fact that if you have people that just simply collect books that are controversial in their own right, this is going to be the holy grail of controversial books, or at least up there, for the simple fact of what's happened in the last week or two.
I just want to shout out Jason Robinson, family to me, friend to comiXsense. Jason, you got back into the comic community during a real renaissance, so you're really getting to see some of the things that take place in this community as they're happening. Actually, shout out to Ian and shout out to Rich, who also got into this community during this, we called it the Renaissance of 2018 between Sam and I, but like during this real renaissance of comics, we're just seeing a lot of new things. So shout out. He says controversy equals cash, something we said earlier. Those involved with this are winning. They do not care about reputation. It's about profit.
It's like that old adage, no publicity is bad publicity.
But in this community, bad reputation can destroy.
It can
destroy you in this community.
But look how popular it can be. You literally, on Key Collector, there's literally a separate tab for controversial issues of everything of Sensational She-Hulk, Uncanny X-Men,
and we've seen worse from other places. I'm not naming names, but there are places that haven't shipped out books in years to people. There are places that have taken money and closed up shop and have.
There are places that have inflated price of their exclusive covers.
And you know what happens?
Day one.
News cycle. It's kind of like real world right now. It will fall out of the comic book news cycle, and you'll forget all about it, right?
Well, no, because if I'm not mistaken, Scorpion Comics was involved in something like this. They're no longer around. I kind of feel like Black Flag Comics is
Frankie's. Well, you know what? I don't want to shout names out because I don't want to do that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but in this case, I kind of feel like Black Flag has made themselves a pariah of the community. I don't think they're going to survive this.
I agree,
think they'll
Corey.
be fine.
Reputation is huge, Corey.
I think they're going to be fine, and they're probably going to be strong. If anything, more people know who they are, and if they're going to be putting other things out, I guarantee you that whatever they're doing with this different acetate will probably do well.
Okay,
I mean,
so let me
I
say
want to
this.
spend
Let
the
me speak.
$500
agree
just
with
to use
him.
that comic book as toilet paper. To
Let
be
me
honest
speak,
with you.
and Ian will do that. Ian will actually do that.
I
Well, let me
get
just speak
it.
to what you just said, Sam, because I think they'll be fine too. But I think it's contingent upon some things, because reputation matters. I think it's contingent upon the face that they show in the aftermath, how they deal with the next thing, how they deal with the community, how they deal with the market. Like, I think that's going to matter. Like, if you're just like Vince McMahoning in the comic community because you know your ultimate Fallout 4 was your Hulk Hogan, I think people are not going to respect that. And money talks. Some people really get pissy over how they're going to spend their money. They really do. Like, if you're not going to give me the best value.
I agree with you, but I don't think it's going to be that big of an impact. I don't.
Okay.
Like
I want to post Diageo. So how do y'all feel about what the owner said? If I have people that want to buy bulk books with a limited book, he's going to sell to them because he has to feed his family.
You had a line. You had a line around your booth.
You literally let people skip ahead to buy some books in bulk issues, and then not only that happened, but then the price went up. No, you can't. No. It's such a garbage answer. That's.
I think it's a tough answer, to be honest with you, because I don't agree with the decision. But if I'm in a position where, who knows, maybe I lost money on that exclusive, maybe I'm under the table. Like, you know, going into a con that you're going to sell out. Like, I'm just playing devil's advocate there. Like,
you have limited a number. You know you're going to sell out. If you're talking about someone that you paid somebody to stand in line for you, okay, great. You know, work smarter, not harder. But if you're talking that people were cut the line for people that got there as early as they could, they stood in line, they waited, and they were only limited to 2, and that was it. But the influencers got 15, 20, 100.
Yeah.
And then
I ain't trying to hear none of that. I'm not trying to hear this. Feed my family. Stop it. Listen. Hold on, man. Hold on. What are we doing here?
Sam just said you had a line of people that were ready to buy.
Hold on, man. Hold on,
man. I get that, but what if they're under? What if they're under on their business? With all the other exclusives. I don't know what their situation is.
I get it, Sam. I hear what you're saying. We like the devil's advocate, but we're going to have some Holy Ghost up in here. We're going to come to Jesus on this conversation. Listen, we're talking about one book that dropped in September of 2021. Why go in the hole on the book even more to inflate the price at a con? Why not just cut your losses? Feed your family? Dude, you had a line around the corner, down the street, up the block.
So
I gotta feed my family on one exclusive.
And what everyone doesn't know is,
think about the margin on $85 versus what the cost of that book was for them.
But I get it. But this ain't feeding your family. This is we're not talking about getting groceries from. We're not talking about getting groceries from Walmart.
How do you know their
an hourly rate job at Tim
Hortons? Are they doing well? Are they about to close up? Like, I don't know the Black Flag situation. I can't be the person to tell you that. Do I agree?
I don't need to know Black Flag situation. I don't need to know Black Flag situation. I need to know
situation.
Here's what I need to know. What the context of what he said? What context was that said in? If I have people that want to buy bulk books with a limited amount of books, I'm gonna sell them because I have to feed my family. At a con with a line down the street and around the corner. And then when you sell the bulk books, you then inflate the price. Man, stop it.
Hold on.
Who sit at major cons and they do not sell out of their exclusives at.
But hold on a second. Sam, hold on a second. So
that's tons of money lost.
But listen, if you can't sell, hold on, wait a minute. No, I'm gonna let you. Hold on. Host here. I'm about to mute some people. Listen, Sam, I'm one of the smallest companies in America. We just do big things. I have 2 exclusive covers. I'm not all of these people who be at these cons, who do all of these things, who plan all of these things. I know that when I go into an exclusive cover, if I don't sell a single book, right? I already know on paper, okay, well, this is what I lose if I don't sell a single book. Can I survive with that? Yes, do the book. What are we doing here? These is big people. They didn't go into this book.
Are they big people?
I mean, they're big enough.
Are they big people?
They're big enough to do a Marvel exclusive, which ain't cheap.
Big enough to do a Marvel exclusive is nothing in this industry.
It's big enough.
You see places do.
Hold on,
Marvel
Sam, but you're missing my
go
point.
under
Hold on, Sam. My point is you're big enough to do the math. You're not going to take a risk and risk your business on it.
Maybe they're not good enough to do that math-ish. You know, just
They're
like
good.
everyone else, that there are places in this world not good enough to do the math.
Okay, I don't think Black Flag is one of them.
How do you know? I
mean,
I don't.
we got comments in here where Clayton Crane works with Black Flag. You're big enough and you're smart enough to do the math. You're not. What business? If that's the case, they would have been gone a long time ago. What business is going to go into an endeavor that can tank them? Now you can't feed your family? Bruh, stop it.
For you to be able to get Clayton Crane, you need money. You need money. You need a following.
Clayton Crane is
so
awful lately.
Point being, now you can't feed your family because of this book.
He's not cheap.
Man, I feel like I'm on The View right now.
Go ahead, Ian. I'm sorry.
All right. So, as many people don't know, as soon as we officially log off from the stream, generally we'll sit on after the fact and we'll talk about, just things going on in the comic community. So last Friday after we jumped off, we brought up a copy of that book. Sam, if I'm not mistaken, you had mentioned it.
Oh yeah.
So this was Friday
brought
night.
it up on the stream.
So
that was the controversy. Everyone was starting to lose their mind about the book.
Did the controversy take place on Friday or did it take place on Saturday?
It took place immediately at the con. For the people that I know that were at the con, there were folks that got it and they were like, "Oh, okay, cool. I was lucky enough to get a copy."
Right, because last Friday we weren't talking about the controversy on the stream. We just posted the book and we're talking about the exclusive.
The comments started rolling in as we were on stream. The first comment I saw was, "This is an unapproved book." The second comments that started rolling in was, "I'm hearing that they sold them to everyone. I hear them that they, there was a bunch of anger about people not getting them," which I get. I didn't know that they raised the prices on people. That's crazy.
He has to feed his family.
that ramen soup ain't cheap, man.
Got to feed the family.
So
I agree. The community is not the important thing to them, but that's not shocking. The community is not an important thing to a lot of retailers.
Why we call it the unfair market? Why we call it the unfair market?
And it has been like that for a long time.
So
exactly, Ish. That's why it's called the unfair market, because who do you think has been shaping this market? Actions like that have caused this to happen,
Do we feel like we beat the dead horse yet?
Glue factory.
There's other stuff going on in the community.
That's why I don't know a lot about the responses, because I looked at it and said, what's new? What else is new? And I stopped paying attention because it is what it is.
Glue factory. I want to say,
it is what it is.
Shout out to everybody in the room watching on Facebook. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. I'm going to need y'all to go ahead and peep the scroll at the bottom of the screen, because we trying to get up in this unfair market and be the Robin Hoods. So like and follow comiXsense on Facebook. Join the comiXsense group on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click a video, like a video. Find us on Instagram. Find us on the Twitter. All right. Next topic. We can move on because this topic is in the glue factory already.
So shout out to the people that, right now I see that there's currently 15 people watching. Nice. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yep.
So it is cringeworthy stuff, man. But it's not going to stop. I guarantee you we're going to be back here talking about something within the next couple weeks or a couple months about, like Mayhew. like stuff like that, Go on to the next topic. You're good.
Right. Sam, what do you got for us, man?
I don't know.
You always got something. What'd you like this week?
I got baby in my arms right now.
What'd you like this week?
I didn't get a chance to read this week.
Really?
I have my books right here. I can tell you what I picked up.
Mm-hmm.
I got 8 Billion Genies.
Yeah. Did you see the cover price on that number 4 right now?
Yeah.
It's either a lot of pump or it's, people still
That
have
Superman cover is like 15 to 20 bucks.
I love the cover. It's
The
either
A cover is like 12 bucks.
I don't know if it's a lot of pump or if it's a lot of wow, I still don't know how to order this book in the community. Like, it's not a surprise anymore. Buy 8 Billion Genies, buy every single cover, don't miss out on it, and don't go pay $15 a copy on it. Like, well, stop not ordering this book. It's an incredible book. Go buy it. You're crazy if you're not reading it. Like,
What about all the people who left Dark Spaces Wildfire on the table?
That's crazy too.
So at my LCS, they had a
Do we know
whole
now
stack.
you don't leave Scott Snyder books on the table?
When I was at my LCS,
Could've been-
they had a whole
Batman.
stack of them. They had a whole stack of them. I pulled them down, and I'm like, these are a hot book. I put these right out front. So
Did you
Oh,
grab
the Dark
one for
Spaces
yourself, Ian?
Wildfire?
yeah.
We sold out of that thing.
So
I think
I could have bought the whole
Good.
stack at cover price. I have my copy.
Where'd you get it?
Of course, I got it from comiXsense.
Of course.
I mean, we can promote ComiXsense on ComiXsense YouTube channel, that is okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that thing was a listen, leaving Scott Snyder books on the table since 2021, it's probably not a good idea. 2020, right? Since Undiscovered Country, probably not a good idea. Probably don't want to leave any of Scott Snyder's new books on the table, in my opinion, from We Have Demons to obviously Noctera, now Dark Spaces Wildfire. Just grab the books. Grab them.
So-
did you buy them all and add an acetate cover?
Yeah,
Jason Robinson said.
I'm gonna go grab some Saran wrap and I'm gonna do a death of 8 Billion Genies variant.
Yo,
cover.
draw it in black.
Yeah,
So-
I got it. Don't worry about it.
I do got to shout out to Joe at 360 Comics. I posted his YouTube video earlier today. The way he approached it, and if anyone has a chance, hop on the comiXsense page, watch the video. It's quite funny. Definitely follow Joe on Instagram. He does some pretty cool live sales. He's always got great books, good content. Not part of the Comic Click. So, I mean, of course, I am always going to promote him. The books I've gotten from him are always in great shape. So, shout out to Joe.
So for fun, I did look up acetate sheets and what you could do to print on acetate. So I could do my own, one of one parody cover.
Nice.
And all I need is an inkjet and some acetate. We're gonna be gold. It's gonna be awesome.
Sam, I think you should do one with all of us, like
One
on
of
the
one.
cover. I think that'd be awesome. There you go.
I was gonna do an Edge of Spider-Verse 2 facsimile acetate and be like, they screwed up the print run on one book. One of
Yeah,
one.
Can we
That's
all
what
be?
that's what they're gonna do next.
Like
Like they're like, yo, we killed the market with the Ultimate Fallout 4 acetate. Next is EOS 2.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Next is gonna be
I wouldn't
EOS
be
2. Like, why not?
So-
Right?
So
I would. Like if I'm gonna be the one that did this one, I'm just gonna Paul Heyman it.
we're
I'm gonna
we're-
Paul
we're in
Heyman
the
my
glue.
way.
We're in the glue factory.
I love
We
that
are,
you're-
we are.
I love that you're dropping wrestling references right now. That's why I love you so much. So
I mean,
I'm just saying, like, if I was to bring back a gimmick like an acetate, I need us to go find a chromium company right now. I want to see the return of chromium.
glow in the dark. We just bring all the 90s. Acetate wasn't a 90s thing though, right?
Yeah, they started some acetate.
Yeah,
around there.
there were some acetate
Yeah.
books.
The first acetate book was a 21st century book.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I
just
think
looked
it
at
might
it on
be
Key
right,
Collector.
I have some Spideys that did acetate covers with some overlays of spider symbols, and then there was die cut. Which die cut?
Yeah, but that's not acetate.
No, there was acetate, then there was die cut, then we had chromium, and we had spot foils, and yep.
No, you're right. He's right.
Wizard
Wizard Magazine did a
Wizard-
whole bunch of
Wizard did a
acetate
ton
covers.
too.
We're still in the glue. We're
They
still
were
in
all
the glue.
acetate
We're
covers.
haven't-
still in the
Yeah.
glue.
I haven't seen chromium come back. I'm just saying, let's do it.
All right, so I
So-
want to get back to the books that hit this
ComiXsense
week.
chromium editions.
I want to get back to the books that hit this week. We got, I mean hit, right? Like that Ghost Rider PX, DCD exclusive, really good book, $25 book right now. first appearance of Necro the Tattooist. You have both of the 8 Billion Genies, cover A and cover B of number 4. Was a really, really, really good book. If you bought those books, got a nice little quick return on your investment.
Which shout out to Trobes. He's not on tonight, but so we do. comiXsense has some inventory of certain books. So there was an LCS that did reach out. They have a young customer trying to get into comics. They recommended 8 Billion Genies. They reached out to me and said, hey, do you guys happen to have any of this book left? And we made it happen to where this customer now has, sure, some of them might be second prints, but they have 1 through 4 of 8 Billion Genies. All right, whatever. But, again, taking care of the community.
Yeah, we do that offline. Like, that's not interesting. Like,
Okay.
people are like, oh, I can't wait to hear that segment. I'm messing with Ian.
Can we start talking about Star Wars and talk about the fact
Yeah,
that you
because
just sucked
Darth
all the
Bane's
oxygen
got a
out of
cover
the
coming,
room?
right?
Whoa.
Talk about Hawkeye
Whoa.
for you, Ian, okay? Don't you worry, buddy.
So Darth Bane has got a Star Wars cover coming.
There-ish.
Is that his first cover appearance?
No.
So Darth Bane's got a cover dropping. Mando number 2 drops next week. We get ours in tomorrow. First full appearance of Grogu in a comic book.
There's also a cancellation. I don't know if you saw that hit.
What
you
was
mean?
that saying?
So a shop, I don't know what shop it was. I got an email blast about it, but they had their Shelby Mandalorian number 2 canceled. So it's interesting because exclusive cover. So I'm guessing it's been printed.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna. I don't know how we're gonna see it roll out and hit the market. And it's pretty cool. It's Mando and Grogu like chilling by a fire, and it's a little bit of a zoomed out image. So it's very different from the other ones.
It's an exclusive though.
It was an exclusive. It's canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was an open order on Penguin or Diamond.
Who knows how it's going to hit the market? How many are actually gonna hit?
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing Walmart packs, but you never know. Just like it's something to know and keep an eye out for.
So here's the thing. That number 2 is dropping this week. First cover appearance of Grogu. First full appearance, not cover. First full appearance of Grogu. And then number 3 drops, and they changed the ratio variance on number 3, and they shortened the amount of covers. And then number 4, you're getting like a 1 in 100, a 1 in 50, and a 1 in 25. And I'm thinking number 4, Cara Dune. And do we actually get Cara Dune in that book?
Yeah, we do, because she's on other things coming up that's being printed.
She's on the Star Wars Insider.
Exactly.
On FOC this last week.
Yeah, there's no way we don't get her. They're not retconning her. Like, she's part of the stories. It's going to be there. I doubt that we'll get a cover of her, like a full like solo cover, but she'll be in the story.
I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Sprouse did one.
Did you guys stop talking? I was taking my nap. I mean, you guys.
I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Sprouse if Chris Sprouse did a Cara Dune cover at all. But yeah, so what do you think about the prospects of number 4 in Cara Dune, and how does that impact the market?
I don't think it does
at all.
I think issue 5 is more important.
Well, you don't think the controversy behind the character and none of that's going to factor in at all? It is going to.
I think it's done.
People like controversy. People like controversy
anymore because Disney buried it, and they're still putting her in stories, so it's a non-issue. It's not controversial anymore because they kept her in the story. They didn't retcon her. They didn't kill her. Nothing changes.
So you don't think her first appearance is going to tick on the radar at all for any reason?
No.
That's interesting. I like it. I like the first appearance of Cara Dune. I think it matters. I think Cara Dune is not gone from the Mando universe, personally. So I think it matters. I think it's relevant. I think us seeing Cara Dune in a comic for the first time, because that character What the actress who played her did, or whether, no matter, it doesn't matter what we feel about that. That's not the issue here.
Yeah.
Once that character crosses over into comics, anybody can write that character any way they want to write that character.
But I don't think they'll let them. Lucasfilm has their thumb on every single story.
Mm-hmm.
They won't approve it.
I mean, what if they want to clean up the image behind that character?
I mean,
and they want to use the comic media
line,
to do it.
Yeah, I think they just changed their plan. Like New Rangers of the Republic completely was written off. She was written off, you know. They gave her kind of a nice final battle with everyone. I don't think we're going to see her again.
Peter agrees with you. But I also agree with Peter. I think she'll be recast. I think we're not going to see the last of Cara Dune. I think the first appearance of Cara Dune matters for now. I'm not going to leave it on the table. Are you?
I'm not going to leave any Mando on the table.
But yeah, I like the first appearance of Cara Dune.
Number 5 is what you want to be in on.
Right.
Get number 5, Fennec Shand, first appearance.
Right.
Like a character who has already made waves, right-handed Boba Fett.
Right.
Like, if the 1 in 100 somehow has her on it.
There isn't a 1 in 100.
Oh, they changed it again?
There's only a 1 in 100 for number 4.
For number 4? What do they go back to? 1 in 25s?
I'll look. 1 in 50s.
Oh, 1 in 50. Okay, that's still higher ratio than what they've been doing. So
they've been doing 1 in 50s.
Is it?
Yeah, number 2 has a 1 in 50. Number 3 only has a 1 in 50.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
So I mean, you know, quite honestly, as much as I mock Star Wars,
I'll be right back. Y'all keep it going.
That's definitely a book that, you know, I am going to put together the run.
Yeah, I think it's smart.
And I know it's probably going to end up that I'm going to give it to, you know, to either you or Ish or Rich, you know, down the road.
Keep it.
Yeah, one of those things, you know, and that's another thing is like, do you guys buy books just because they're valuable, even if you have no interest in them?
Depends on if I'm buying it for investment or if I'm buying it for personal.
That's a good point.
Because
I mean,
give me an example of a book, Ian.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anything Star Wars.
Okay, Star Wars, High Republic Adventures, number 2.
It also depends on the buy-in, I guess.
So I won a copy of the first appearance of Dr. Aphra.
Great.
Okay.
I gave it away.
Oh.
Gave it away?
I gave it away. And I was told, like, after the fact, that I was crazy for doing so.
You're going to upset the baby, and she's going to wake up, and she's going to get upset with you.
I'm just saying, Ian, you are such a kind human.
He's
and
too
I appreciate
kind, though. He's
people
too
like
kind.
you. But
because
wow.
He'll get books that he needs for his Uncanny run or other runs, and he'll give them to Ish or Trove. Even myself. Okay, actually, I take that back. He won't give it to him. They pretty much confiscate it from him verbally, and he's obliged to give that to them.
They come to my house and they take my books. So I had 5.
His wife has better books than you, so just fuck it.
I had 5 copies of Noctera number 1. I let them buy like all my extra copies. Just like I couldn't tell them no.
But see, now here's the thing:
do you believe in a series that you don't read, Ian?
What's that?
Do you believe in any series right now that you don't read and don't collect?
Do I believe in any series that I don't read and I don't collect?
Yeah. I do. And you just put them in a box just because you're like, okay, I feel like I have to have it because it's the hot book of the week, or Ish is specking on it, or you hear it from, you know, one of us, you know.
Don't we call that FOMO then? Aren't we like fear of missing out then? Because at one point,
FOMO buying is very real right now.
That's a very real thing.
But
so
I love your question right now. Like, and I would love to hear the community's answer too. Like, what are some things that you have purchased either weekly and you continue to buy, or what are some big books where you're like, I just bought it because it was valuable?
Current run of Captain Marvel.
There you go.
I have not read a single issue.
Okay.
But behind me in a box is every single book from the current run of Captain Marvel.
So
And Nick, I FOMO miss this show, and no one ever reminds me.
so obviously, nice.
Subscribe, Nick. Subscribe, bro.
So you guys obviously know it's in my name, but obviously I don't read comics. I have not. I don't read them. I don't.
But look at the fire behind you.
I got into it
But-
just under 2 years ago as a way to get, because of COVID, everything. And I'm going to be honest, comics kind of saved me a little bit. And I wish other people kind of heard this because I was kind of lost, without my boxing training or doing anything because COVID shut everything down. I had no outlet. I had nothing to do during the day, during the evening. And here I was thinking, and again, me being a rookie into thinking like, I'm going to buy comics and I'm going to be a day flipper.
Mhm.
That is such an obtuse way of thinking because it's just not out there. For a select few books, if you hit it at the right exact moment, and you have to be spot on. Perfect example would have been Mullet Cop like a month and a half, 2 months ago. Like if you sold it right on, good. Because I got mine at cover price the second it hit Key Collector and bought it for cover price. Now it's a $15 to $25 book.
There's windows, man. There's windows.
So
But I mean,
I put up
book. What's up, Ish?
I put up Sam's comment. I want to speak to something that Ian said because that was a great point that he mentioned Captain Marvel. Same, right? And I do read Captain Marvel, but we've been screaming Captain Marvel for a long time. Like almost every other issue of that thing is key. Her longest run ever of a comic of any of her series. This is her longest volume, her longest run. That having been said, Sam Murdoch, why did number 4 get a 1 in 100 and not the others? This is what my opinion is. I respect Comic Sam's opinion. He's a Star Wars guy. What I've been screaming for some time now here at comiXsense is identify trends before they become trends. Sometimes when you spec, you have to consider intangible things, and you have to try to put yourself in the mind of knowing what you don't know. Number 4 will be the first issue of Cara Dune. So when I try to put myself in the shoes of the people behind this book, and I ask myself, well, number 1 didn't get a 1 in 100. Number 2 didn't get a 1 in 100. Number 3 didn't get a 1 in 100. Why would number 4 suddenly get a Momoko Virgin variant 1 in 100? And then I think, oh, Cara Dune's going to appear in this issue. And then that makes me think, does Marvel have plans for Cara Dune somewhere down the line? This isn't to say that they will, but this is how I think when I'm speccing or I'm looking deeper into things. Try to put myself in the shoes and I try to ask myself the same question you did. Why did number 4 get a 1 in 100? What's different about this book than the other 3? Cara Dune, but it's not just Cara Dune. Controversial character. Does Marvel want to clean up the reputation behind this character? Does Disney somewhere down the line, who, right now Marvel does things, as does DC. Marvel does things Disney centric. You see their characters start to look like the Disney versions of their characters in the comic books. A lot of the things that they do in the books are totally, you see a Silk series and you saw an America Chavez series because you're going to see them on your TV screen very soon. All of the characters that we are going to see soon. Riri will get another series before Riri's TV show drops. She-Hulk got a series before her television series drops. Miss Marvel got a Miss Marvel Beyond series, but Marvel is very much aware that they have a larger, broader audience, and this audience, when they watch these movies or watch what happens on TV, they want to go to the comic store and find these characters. They want to make sure that the characters are available. So for me, Jason Robinson says, this is what we call in data analytics called predictive analytics rule. Yes, predictive analytics. Like my thoughts are, okay, well, why would this book get a 1 in 100 and not the others? And then is it coincidental that it happens to be the first appearance of Cara Dune? And then my question is, well, what is it that they want to do? What is their intentions? Maybe there are no intentions, but maybe they intend to clean up the reputation that the actress brought to this character so that they can continue to use the character, and maybe not. But this is why I was saying earlier, it's not something that I want to leave on the table. I don't think it is for no reason. I mean, no other book in the series to date has a 1 in 100, and it has the most covers. It has more covers or as many covers as number 1. It's got like 6 covers. So there's that. I generally take my cues from Sam when it comes to from Comic Sam when it comes to Star Wars stuff, and I'm keeping it real.
Well,
when it comes to spec stuff, I take as many cues from Comic Sam as I take from Ish's own intuition as well.
I'm buying every single ratio regardless. I don't care about the firsts or whatever. Like multiple.
You care about the firsts.
Every single Mando.
You care about the firsts.
Well, I care, but like I'm just buying all of them.
And to answer the question that everyone answered that I didn't answer about what was it? Do we buy books that we don't? What you say, Sam? Do we buy books?
Well, hold on. Let's ask Rich why those books are on his wall. So you don't read. You started recollecting during COVID, right? But like,
true.
Are those books on your wall because they're worth something or because you love the character?
Honestly, it's both. Because
I was gonna say for Rich, it's a mix of both.
Yeah,
it is absolutely. I mean, there's some books that just appeal to me more because of the cover. I like the artist. I like the character. I like the ink work. I mean, or I mean, it kind of piggybacks off of it. The book is valuable. I mean, I was telling Ian that I ended up buying, it was Black Panther 1 and Black Panther 5 and Black Panther 1 as well, all graded at 9.4. 2 of them were signed by J. Scott Campbell. I ended up getting it for a great deal at $400 at the time. And, that was the highest purchase I'd ever made, thinking like, okay, I like the cover, but maybe this might be an investment thing. Now come to find out, I may keep one of them just because I do like the cover that much, and an investment bit as well on the off chance that if Shuri does become Black Panther, that of course helps me out in the terms of investment purposes.
What are you going to sell? Are you going to sell that book behind your, like to the right of your head right now when she is revealed as Black Panther, whether it's temporary or permanently? What are you doing with that book?
I will sell it.
All right.
Now,
good call, in my opinion.
Another bit of it, unless it's like a personal value, like Ish and and Ian and Sam, that my Uncanny X-Men run that I'm attempting to get every single.
I'm unfriending you.
All of it. New Mutants, a few others. There's ones, runs that I just personally want to keep for my own PC. But I have no vested interest truly in a lot of the comics because I don't read the comics. If it's something that I personally will collect for value, great. If it's something that I want to keep just to say, like, I have, first appearance of Black Widow in costume, to say that I have that, and that's my thing. Like to say I have Abomination's first cover appearance, that's something. It's the older books I tend to keep for my own personal collection. The newer books, I tend to swing the other way. It's I guess it all depends on the day and the month. I guess
I'll tell you. Ian told me earlier. Ian, I'm going to quote you. You're like, I'm going to leave that book there because it brings in like really great like new buyers to your shop, and like I could buy it because it's a great deal, but I'll leave it up there. I'm not that person. If I see a key on the wall that's a really good value, I'll buy it in a heartbeat.
So
in a heartbeat.
Well, I want to answer the question since everybody else got to answer it.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't FOMO buy. I mean, I do FOMO buy. I'm sorry. Everybody FOMO buy. To say that they don't FOMO buy, like stop it. But I FOMO buy. I'm in a fortunate position where I get to order comic books.
What did we FOMO buy? What was the book? The three of us.
U.S. Agent number 3.
Oh
yeah, I love that book. Still love it. Like love that book.
You and
love
I
that book.
FOMO bought a book. Ish,
I actually bought a couple more a couple months back. I love that book. I'm sorry. Go on.
You and I at FOMO bought a book, and I can't remember what it was. But we were like, oh, we got to buy this. We got to buy as many as possible. And we went out and bought a bunch.
Oh, yeah. I do it. I FOMO buy. When I FOMO buy, I believe. So here's the thing. So first of all, to me, the best spec is affordable spec. Another one of the folk you always hear me say. Affordable spec. So if it's affordable, you buy a lot of it, you put it away. That having been said, I'm in a fortunate position where I order books.
Yep.
So I always keep everything that I personally spec on. Like I'm not going to spec on it and tell you if I don't have it. Like I'm going to get it. So for me, I buy books that I collect, but I collect a lot of books. And that always changes because a new series comes out and I read it and it's dope. And I'm like, okay, I'm in on it and I buy it. But I also buy books that I know. Here's the difference, because I do buy books for investment purposes, but I don't sell. Like I don't sell my personal comics.
You don't.
Everyone who knows me knows that about me. I don't sell. I'm not going to get on. I don't sell my personal collection. I'll just hoard them. I'm going to leave them like to my daughter. You know what I mean? Like I don't sell my personal comics, but I certainly buy books that I know or feel are going to have value. Something's optioned. I'm going to buy it.
I'm right there with you.
throw it in a box. Like if I know that it's going to have I will sell books in a specific instance because I believe in having multiple copies. I believe in letting your hobby fund your hobby.
Well, and you know that there's a window also.
Right.
Just what Rich said. Like there's a window for some of these books. You know. Now,
go ahead, Sam. I'm sorry.
I want to know the answer to this. I want a specific, and maybe you could use the shows that you've done at one of the shops that you do a takeover for, right? What book that you don't collect did you look on that wall and go, well, shoot, this isn't making the stream. I got to buy this.
Oh, first appearance of Cassandra Kane.
There you go.
One of my favorite characters. I don't read Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't collect Batman. I don't read Batman. One of my favorite characters. Absolutely.
Example. Good.
Never made the stream. There's a couple, but that was one of them for sure.
Go, Rich. Hit me.
I was going to say, like you said, small window, and you're right. You do have a small window. Perfect example. The one issue, I can't remember if it's 9 or 2. I can't remember exactly, of the Ironheart series where Shuri meets Riri for the first time. As soon as that moment hits, as soon as you see them meet on screen, that's it. There's nothing that holds that. There's something that keeps that book valuable anymore at that moment. Like
you might even want to do that once.
You should be selling that in October.
Yeah,
exactly. I sold that the minute that you heard that she was on set in Atlanta, Georgia.
There you go.
Yeah, you don't wait for the movie on that. That window closes when the movie drops. You fell into that situation last year when you bought all those U.S. agents, and I told you should have been moved.
Yep.
Everything but where he becomes U.S. agent.
It'll come around.
And I was a little late, but I was still able to sell it and still make a profit. But you're right. I was late by, 2 weeks? 3? I mean, 3 weeks. It wasn't that big of a window, but still that time frame right there meant the difference between $75 extra and X amount of dollars. I mean, it really does. It makes a difference. And timing is everything. Your window of opportunity is very small when it comes to something that's not a key appearance, that's not cover appearance. If it's something minute, your first meeting, your first battle, once that meeting has happened, there's nothing that could sustain that value anymore for a said comic anymore.
Well, and that's where lately I've shifted my buying. So do I buy all of the books that the 4 of us spec on and like my Discord friends spec on? Yes, I do. But when it comes to the buying the stuff off the wall, Ian, right? That's a good deal. I have switched to, if I can move it now, I'll buy it. Or it has to be a bigger key that isn't movie related or an indie series like I bought an Extra Saga #1. Like something that I truly believe in that isn't necessarily an option play.
It'll be optioned.
I mean, yeah, it will be optioned, but I think there's always going to be value. Like I've shifted lately because I miss those windows because I don't have time to go.
I'm never worried about those windows.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the windows, but that's how I've shifted. Like this was the most recent buy off the wall.
So these were my most recent.
First Psylocke
and Boys First Appearance of the 7.
Yo, First Psylocke that's a great book.
I love it.
So
I have a couple.
I have no vested interest in collecting either, but I saw them. It was a good deal, so I bought them.
So Michael Chang says, so how do you deal with leaving your collection with your children and they unfortunately aren't into comics? Do you tell them how much it's worth and leave the burden of selling the comics to them? Love that Firestar #1. Love that Duel #1. Those are dope. Who told you to get those, by the way? Roger Rabbit. Who told you to get those books? Wonder who you've been listen. So Michael, what I do is, because 90% of my books, with the exception, 80% of my books, with the exception of my personal collection, books I personally collect that I enjoy reading, 80% of my books are keys. So they're all annotated, or as they said in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, everything marked and membered. Everything is annotated. Everything. I've talked to her mom. I've talked to she knows, like, listen, these are all set aside in these boxes. You read the back. It's not going to tell you what they're worth, but it's going to tell you their importance. You're going to know it's first appearance of such and such, why it's important. Because I went and took the time to do this because I don't want to leave them in a position where they don't know what they have. I always say there is nothing in these boxes that is crap. There's nothing in there that is common. They won't even be in those boxes. They're just not in the boxes. And then there are people that are close to me that understand and know comics that they can call and be like, yo, listen, if you want to sell them all in one fell swoop, this is what you do. You know, this is what you're going to ask for. Probably 60% of total value. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, be realistic, or, you know, this is what you have. So that's the approach that I took, because I considered, like, okay, how are they going to know what's what? And I just took the time to make, like, on the backboards on the back, I just made the annotations. Like, this is what this is. Exactly what it is. If you have to Google it or eBay it, you have all of the data.
My
First appearance of such and such.
To my wife and in all of my affairs is go to Heritage.
Good move.
So I mean, my wife collects, so I mean, she at least has a step up when it comes to the comic book collection. But I mean, as you could see right over my left-hand shoulder here is, you know, I have a $5,000 guitar sitting, you know, on my wall behind me. So, you know, I think stuff like that is where people are, you know, where friends and family are less clueless about what I have, but I have enough friends, you know, musician friends in the industry that, you know, will be able to help out there. But I mean, you know, it's always one of those things is if you have something that holds a lot of sentimental value, a lot of value, you know, you're never going to get what you put into it.
Never. But that's anything, though. That's not just comics, though, Ian. That's comics, cars, boats, motorcycles, cars,
statues,
any of the sneakers. Whatever your vice is, it doesn't matter. Whatever you put, whatever you think it's worth, you're never going to get what you think it's worth back in value. You're never going to. I mean, if you think you have a diluted sense of what reality truly is. And
why did you name like 4 vices of mine? That's bad.
Sam, I got boxes of sneakers underneath the bed in our bedroom, and like,
dude, I've got sneakers everywhere. It's bad.
I sold my sneakers when I was done being a manager at Finish Line, so I'm glad I got out of sneakers.
So
that's a dangerous hole you go down, man.
It's crazy, dude.
What's funny? What's funny is when we did the takeover of Empire Comic Fest, one of the organizers looked at me and he's just like, well, it's nice to see somebody wore sensible shoes today. Because I was wearing like a special like release pair of Jordans that I'll put on just to wear to cons, and like
we could all go crazy with some shoes right now.
Yeah.
Next time we're gonna see Ian, he's gonna be dropping the Yeezys, and all of a sudden we're like, wow.
So I don't have any Yeezys yet, and Sam, I'm kind of jealous of the fact that you just rock the zebras all the time. So yeah.
All right, so Diageo Mallard asks, do you think Shuri's first appearance of Black Panther will hold value or go up on value after the movie?
It'll go down. And
yeah, it's going to go down.
Long term, it will be still a fine book. I think she's a key character, not only in the MCU, but in Marvel in general. Like it's going to bubble with the potential of her taking over, and then it's going to go down, in my opinion. But there will always be long-term value there, you know?
I agree 100% with Sam. I couldn't have said it better. I would add that, again, we have to identify trends before they become trends. We are in the 21st century. There are a lot of movements that are relevant. Once Shuri, similar to Elektra becoming Daredevil, once Shuri gets recognized as a Black Panther in front of a broader audience, the potential for Shuri to always be a secondary Black Panther will never go away. So her first appearance as the Black Panther will always be relevant. I agree that it will bubble, but it's a key that you should keep.
So just to piggyback off that, and Ish, you've been screaming it. You've been telling everyone to go and buy those first appearances of Julia Carpenter. You've been telling everyone to go buy those first appearances of, and I mean, we got the news today, and I just want to say that I did call it that Emma Roberts is officially Mary Parker. So,
take a bow, Ian. Go on, stand up, take a bow.
May Parker.
There you go.
Yes, May Parker. I
you
apologize.
say, like,
The excitement made me pull a Rich. I'm sorry. But
you can't just throw me under the bus like that.
I am as nervous as I am excited about the potential of that film.
CLZ, Jason.
Yeah, CLZ.
CLZ all day, Jason. Because Jason, I'll be honest, I used to be old school, and Ish used to tell me all the time to stop doing it. I used to hand write every book that I bought
In
and
pencil.
If I had in pencil, thank you. He see the memory that Ish has. He knows he just remembers everything, but everything. So say if I bought 5 Star Wars High Republic Adventures #1, and there's a hell of a lot of first appearances, I would hand write every single one of those. Just because that was the process, and I'm like, I need to make sure I keep inventory. And then Ish told me about this little thing called the CLZ app, and wow, man, that you can just scan books in. Most of the books already have your first appearances, although there are a few that if they're brand new, like because Ish and Sam, Ian, whatever, they might have read the book already, and they've already figured out that there's a first appearance, a cover appearance, whatever. It hasn't caught up yet on the CLZ app, but it will eventually.
Yeah, Jay, you just scan the book. And what's so cool about the CLZ app, just to give you another, give you some more info on that, you literally just scan the book and you can add it to the CLZ app. Every once in a while, you have to add something manually. But what's cool about it is if you're in a shop and you don't know if you have a book, you just scan it and it'll just pop up on your CLZ app and tell you how many copies you have. It'll tell you how many variant covers there are, like all of that.
This drives me nuts when they put the barcode on the back of the book.
Oh my god! So you got to pull the book, you got to pull the board up 2 inches from the.
Right, man.
Splitting hairs, man.
Right.
I
get it, man.
Cover where you got like it's so bad.
Yeah, CLZ app. It's
terrible.
very, very, very
Terrible.
cheap. You pay for the entire year, and you're good.
Yeah,
like really inexpensive. Really inexpensive.
It's like $1.50, $2 a month or something like that. I mean,
yeah, you just pay for the whole year and forget about it. Like
it's kind of like Key Collector.
Pay for the whole year. Forget about it.
Collector, though.
Yeah, I don't use Key Collector to or My Comic Realm to catalog my books.
I'm going to take it back. The only thing I do truly appreciate about Key Collector is that if you can't remember about like the exact what comic first appearance or cameo, Key Collector does have that for the most part on there. Like CLZ app doesn't have the option for you to type in a character's name and find out what first appearance or what issues are important to that character. So that is the one thing I will give Key Collector their props for. So
I'm going to let a bunch of people tackle this question. I just want to say, Steve, shout out to Steve Sable. This is a hard question because the best value is always going to be what people are willing to pay.
Yeah.
And that just fluctuates. It's just always going to, and people are certainly going to go to the platforms where they get the best value for purchasing value. Like that's just where people are going to flock towards.
So that must be comiXsense, right?
Well, no, I mean, we know, he's talking about aftermarket sales.
I know.
You're talking about maximizer value because you got to go to eBay.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I mean, you have a ton of selling platforms that you can buy books on or sell books on, I should say.
So I'm always going to take umbrage with eBay being last sold price is what you use. And the reason why I'm going to always take umbrage, I think it's aggregate. I think it's a composite of the last sold versus the best available. And the reason why is because
Are you using buy in?
Well, hold on before you
tell them.
I think it's going to always be you can't just go by the last sold price because the last sold price isn't ended. What can you buy it now for? Like, what's the best price you can buy it right now for available? So don't ignore what it was last sold for, but the last sold is not the sole indicator of the value if you can't buy it for what it was last sold for.
It's a single indicator.
Right. Yeah. Right. You need to compare both.
And that is what you and I, like ever since I met you, one of the first things that gravitated like us to connect was our thought process around pricing, not only what you should price your books for, but also how you should make an informed decision on a purchase.
Yep.
Like that is, I think, one of the best things to guide you in selling books and maximizing your value. Right. I think it's so important and crucial for so many of us who do view this as investment more than, you have your investment side and your collecting side, but to play it that way is the smartest way ish.
Right. Yeah, you definitely cannot ignore, because it always factors in. Like, if you're only using what it last sold for as the bar, well, say you go to make a purchase, you may never see that sell price again. And you may pass up on the best available value waiting to get that last sold price again. And it could just steadily increase. Something That's Killing the Children is an example. That A cover went from 10, 15, 20, 75, 150. It never went back down to the last sold price. It just incrementally increased. Steve is asking, what's the best place to sell your book?
eBay, most eyes.
Yeah, eBay.
It's the biggest group of buyers in the world.
You have the most people in the world that you can, sell your book to. So,
yep. But there's a lot of things you need to consider in selling. Like, when is your auction going to end? How many days are you holding on for?
Are you doing a bin?
Are you going to do a bin? Like, when is your auction going to end? On a holiday? In the afternoon, in the morning, at 3 a.m.? Like, you have to consider what's going to be the smartest move for you. Is there a playoff game for like something crazy going on where people aren't going to be paying attention to auctions, looking at their phones? Like, there are so many things that you need to think about before you list your auction.
And if you're just a single seller who isn't someone who manipulates the market, which we're not going to get into, but there are people it's very easy to do. We're not going to get into it. But if you're not manipulating the market on eBay, then you have to assume, because a lot of people use GPA. GPA is a cool guide.
I love GPA.
Me too. It's a cool guide. It's a cool guide. But the reality is, the value is what people are paying for it.
Exactly.
Period. And 90% of the time, you're not getting GPA. You're going to get 80% of market value. If you're looking to make more than 80% of market value, your book is going to sit on eBay.
And you have to remember that eBay is going to take,
upper 10%.
Way more.
12%. Like 12%. Is it? Now. Did it increase? I don't sell books anymore.
For some people, I've seen it get up to like 20%. So you have to know that what you're going to list it at, you're getting cut right off the top. Which, honestly, just go sell it to someone locally for cash. I don't know, like, avoid the hassle of shipping, avoid the potential of damages. Like, just go give someone a deal, and you're going to make out.
Yeah. Nope. The problem is. And it's a problem for people who look to maximize their sales. Not everyone, but some of the people who look to maximize their sales, is that we do not live in a world where people are going to pay the GPA or the value. They're going to pay 80% of value. It's just.
Well, and so I look at Peter's comment, right? You also have to know, like, you should be taking really great pics of your books. You should be taking front cover, every section of the book, on the four corners on the front, a full back cover, and then all around, right? And you need to know how to pack well. You really do. And I've sold over 1,200 items on eBay. I've had one issue where USPS cracked a slab, destroyed this box. But out of 1,200, hey, that's pretty damn great,
So, best way to sell locally, that's interesting. You ask an interesting question, because one of the things about selling locally is that is a way that you can get a better value for you. You can get more money than actually if you put it on eBay. And the reason why is because oftentimes we as collectors are willing to pay for something in hand. Exactly. Like, it's right there. It's in front of us. You understand what I'm saying? We might want to haggle with you, but it's in front of us, and it's something, if it's something that we really want, we're probably, especially if it's something you don't commonly see and it's in the grade we want it in. You know what I mean?
If I get to hold it in my hand, if I get to take it out of the bag in person, and then we get to talk about the price like human beings, I'd rather do that.
I can't tell you the best way to sell locally. That's just, it's your own ingenuity, and if you're listing on Facebook Marketplace or
I was going to say, if you're
Craigslist,
locally, a con,
set up at a show, Steve.
Yeah.
Go set up at Darren's.
Yeah. Get a hold of Darren. He's doing Decepticon the 12th of September, 11th, 12th of September. I'm sure you can get a table and bring some stuff and sell.
I guess the best answer would be the best way to sell locally. The place where you're going to get the most traffic and the most visual, looks at whatever you're selling, I guess.
Facebook Marketplace, flea markets. You know what I mean? Walking into comic stores is probably not going to maximize your value because the comic book store is going to pay six points on out of 100.
Unless you want to trade.
Should be looking to right.
If you trade, then you should go straight up for straight up.
Right. You can't walk into a comic store and expect to get the max value because they have to resell the book.
60%. Right.
They're going to give you 6 points out of 10. In a good comic shop, I know some great comic shops. They're not even going to. They're only going to factor in your keys,
and they'll be
the rest. They're going to keep it real. Like I'm paying for your keys. I'm going to buy the rest, but I can't sell it, so I'm going to pay you for your keys.
Exactly.
I'll give you a lump sum, pay you for your keys. You got a good run with some solid keys in there, you'll make a chunk of money, but I'm not paying you for. I don't care if the commons are $50 book, they're commons. Listen, this is the thing. We have to understand the difference between marketability and collectability, right? Not the difference, what they mean when it comes. Listen, nobody's paying unless you're a run completionist. Nobody's paying the fair market value at all for Avengers number 8 if it's not a key. It's just a common in Avengers.
Just
say again. Okay, wrong book. But you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like nobody's paying for Avengers 22 or whatever it is. If it's just a common book in the run, yeah, it could be $150 book. But it's not collectible. It's not collectible.
Got to feed the family.
That's why I said, Peter, good LCSs will give you 6 points. 6 points. Like good LCSs are going to give you 6 points.
The chat is.
They got to feed their family.
Chat's on fire tonight. I love it.
Brutal.
They got to feed their family. Yo, right. Listen, we need a t-shirt.
Gentlemen.
Got to feed the family.
Absolutely incredible.
So, gentlemen, it is nearing that time where I must bid adieu for the night.
Ian, do you have a spec? Do you have a new spec at all before you leave?
I mean, buy up your obscure Spider-Woman first appearances. And I am going to tell you that, we kind of touched on the fact that Marvel doesn't do anything by coincidence. There was a collected edition of a run that dropped as a release this week. I have a little bit of inside knowledge from a friend that is in the acting community and might have been cast to a certain movie that has not officially been given a release date or even information being provided about it, but they are casting for it. So I will say there was a collected edition that came out this week. Get on top of those books. I've been screaming it for a couple months now. Get on top of those books. It's coming.
What book?
So it's Gwen Stacy 1 through 3.
What?
So
that Gwen Stacy number 1.
So yeah, so it's Gwen Stacy 1 through 3. But I mean, I'm telling you, it's coming.
I gotta argue. I gotta disagree.
All right, fine.
Okay, so if anyone has any Edge of Spider-Verse number 2s that they're selling, hit me up in the DMs. No.
So the reason why I disagree, and I'm not sure because I didn't read that book.
I'll buy some more.
And I've told people this before because people keep Gwen Stacy and Spider-Gwen are not the same people. Gwen Stacy is Gwen Stacy. Spider-Gwen is Spider-Gwen. I just want to throw that out there. Gwen Stacy is
Gwen Stacy is Ghost Spider / Spider-Woman / Spider-Gwen.
No, the alternate Gwen Stacy from another universe is Spider-Gwen / Ghost Spider.
Yeah,
but she's still Gwen Stacy.
But that's not the Gwen Stacy in that book.
They're all going to go up though. It won't matter. all these books,
Splitting
this whole
hairs here,
row.
my friend.
We're not splitting hairs.
This whole
We're not.
row
We're
is gonna
not.
go crazy,
It's not the same character.
and they're not getting
It
sold.
won't be her for those like Amazing Spider-Man 122. Death of Gwen Stacy is not the death of Ghost Spider.
Exactly.
It's not the same character.
Completely different characters, but everything will pop.
Everything will pop.
Why? What would be the logic?
Because
I'm not
you
saying
just
that.
put it
I'm
in
not
the same bucket of anything Gwen will get hot. Guarantee you.
The echo effect. But I'm not saying that those Gwen Stacy books are going to be hot. That's not where my spec is at. My spec is on Spider-Gwen books. Like, get your Spider-Gwen keys. That's all I'm saying. That's
Peter,
my
it's because
spec.
the 31 jumped already, man.
Y'all gonna hate
It's
me
gone
because,
crazy.
like, if you tell me Spider-Gwen is spec, it's like saying Miles Morales is spec.
We know it's coming, but you know they're still out there. Those
Yeah,
key
you
books are
want her
still
first
out there.
solo series because that's really kind of the only thing you can really spec on, right? Is her first solo.
But some of these books are low print runs, and they're out there.
Well, it depends on.
I know of a
Right,
shop.
I agree with you. I go get her first solos. Go
Yeah,
get Ghost Spider. Go
That's
get
what
them.
he's saying. I agree with Corey. That's the comment right there. Ian's saying time is running out to get an affordable copy.
Well, time has run out on EOS.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, it depends on what affordable is, right? Like EOS in near mint raw can go anywhere from around $400 to $600 depending on the raw condition.
Raw, right?
Raw,
right.
Right.
So
Because it's already a Grail book in 9.8.
so
Agreed.
here's a prime.
But like
Here's a prime.
that's affordable. If I see it on a wall, I would go.
I agree, and I agree with Ian. I agree
Mhm.
with you, Ian.
But here's a prime example, and this is where I'll kind of leave it before I leave you guys for the night. So at the present moment, Spider-Gwen's second series, book number 19, the print run on that is only like 8,000 copies. I know where there are multiple copies of that book where they're $5. But again, it comes down to the fact I know they're there. I'm not going to buy them because I feel as though someone else should have the opportunity to do it. But again, you know, they're out there. You could get that book. You know, it's just you got to get them now. It's not going to last. They're not going to be affordable.
What I'm saying is, and I think I misconstrued what you're saying or confused what you're saying, and it speaks to what Peter is saying, right? ASM 31 isn't doing what Edge of Spider-Verse is doing. It's not. And what I'm saying is if they cast Gwen Stacy in a Peter Parker movie, the Gwen Stacy they're going to cast is from ASM 31. If they cast Gwen Stacy in a Miles Morales associated property, then we're looking at Edge of Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like we're not looking at
100%.
the same, right?
I'm just talking about the value that we're going to see. Like every book will be impacted if she shows up somewhere. Every book. Now,
But
I agree. This
I
isn't jumping as much as that, but this also isn't going. This one isn't going to fall as much as that with the trends in the market.
That's a good point. So I'm with Ian. Listen, I'm gonna say go get Ghost Spider number 1.
Andres, yeah, I like
go
that
get
right there.
Go get all of Gwen's number 1s. Go get them.
Go get the variants.
Yeah, get the variants.
from
the
series.
Second print of Ghost Spider, which could only get in a Walmart pack.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really like the spec. I'm with Ian on that. Like go get the Ghost Spider joints that you can afford because, like Corey James said, time is running out. Time is running out. Who else has some spec before we get up out of here?
Spider-Gwen number 1, I think, is one of the most underpriced of the Spider-Gwen books. First print, first series, 9.8, still about $100. It's going to go up.
First cover appearance. Oh, that's EOS 2. Never mind.
Peter, I had it, man. I had a 9.8 and I sold it on my way up.
I know you got some spec, right, Sam? Rich doesn't.
So I do have some spec. Now, I've been on this for a while, and then it started hitting some sites and some apps, and it frustrates me because it's frustrating when that happens. Everyone knows that the Last Airbender TV series is coming, right?
I know where you're going.
Supposedly they're going to do it the right way. There is a double first appearance book, arguably first appearance book, in Free Comic Book Day Star Wars 2011. But if you go back even further to 2006, 2007, when Avatar The Last Airbender was coming out with DVDs, the first run of DVDs had a mini comic in it. And it's Avatar Divided We Fall.
That's my copy.
And it is the first appearance of Katara, Aang, Toph, Sokka, and Appa. And I'm personally a huge fan of the series. I love it. I think it's a cheap buy because no one's listing the book, but they're listing the DVDs with the book. And you could get them for like a couple bucks because they're not listing them as the comic itself. So hunt them down, pick them up when you see them. I think it's a good play. If CGC puts the label on it that it's the first appearance of these characters, then watch.
Well, you could just tell CGC to put the label on it.
I know I can, but I'm still buying copies. So,
Rich,
watch the money roll in when it
Rich,
happens. You know?
your spec is Avengers Forever #9, first multiversal Carol Danvers.
Thank you. Yeah. Actually, the only because Ish said I don't have a spec, but I did have a spec. I spec'd on Never Never. Actually, I actually ended up getting 2 full runs of Never Never when it first came out because I thought that the storyline was interesting and very dark from the perspective of the lost.
Who'd you get that from?
Oh, that was me.
Yeah, I had that book on a pull list at an LCS, and they never got their copies.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it again. I'm going to be a broken record. I'm going to keep screaming this for the time being. I like everything $20.99 right now.
I'm glad he said that.
Everything $20.99. All of the keys. I like everything $20.99 right now. So that's what it is.
Ish.
Buy all the firsts.
Ish, there's your oh wait, nope, that's not it. Sorry. There you go. That's yours.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. That
Appreciate
and again, of course, and again, this is just a testament to what you've been saying. These are $2 books. Like these are still quite affordable. I mean, you can get near mint to near mint plus copies on eBay for $3 to $5. I just
really quickly, sorry to cut you off. I need everyone to like and follow comiXsense on Facebook and join our comiXsense Facebook group. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us at comiXsense on Instagram and on the Twitter.
Yep. Telling you, don't sleep on it. Ish was right. Ish has been saying it. Trobes and Sam. I mean, everybody in comiXsense community, we've been saying it for a long time. You don't sleep on 2099s. Ghost Rider, Doom, Hulk, Unlimited, Spider-Man. I mean,
Venom, both Venoms
on the list. I mean,
see what happened with that Punisher this week alone.
Yeah.
Like this week alone, we've been talking about that thing, and just this week alone, like a $20 book out of nowhere. You could get it in dollar bins. I just got a couple copies last month at a con in a dollar bin.
Yep.
Like
the time's running out. Not on all of them, but some of them. Spider-Man 2099, that one time, that the finding it in the dollar bins is going to be a rare find. But if you do, great. But
until it changes, Marvel has confirmed that the 2099 universe is the future of the Prime universe. Earth 616, it's their future. Until that changes,
Punisher
don't leave 2099 on the table. Sable, we're talking about Punisher 2099 #1, first appearance, first cover appearance of Punisher 2099, unless you want to go get those previews like Punisher Warzone, which previewed Punisher 2099 before Punisher release. I think. Can't remember which issue, but it was a preview. All of them had previews. All of them. I think Doom preview appeared in Fantastic Four or something like that. Like all of them had a preview of those characters.
Yep.
But yeah, man, go get those. Don't even sleep on things like X Nation from 2099 universe. Go get those 2099 characters. Don't leave them on the table. They will be relevant. They will matter. Miles Morales, Miguel O'Hara will be popping up in the Edge of Spider-Verse. So we're going to get a 2099 character on our television screen, and he's going to play a major role, not a minor role. So there's that. I don't know why. I swallowed the fly. Perhaps I'll die. So yeah, that is what it is. We kicked it. We talked about some of the things, not all of the things. We appreciate the Comic Sense crowd, community, and crew. I am going to let Comic Sam, Rich Doesn't Read, and Ian Michael all have a last word. Then we're gonna get up out of here and I'm gonna close it out. Don't everybody rush.
I mean, we were going in order, so I mean, you know.
Oh, you want me to go in order? Yeah. I appreciate.
We're going by height.
Oh, got it. So I'll start. Don't worry. Appreciate everyone in the chat.
Yo, Sam even looks shorter than everyone else on screen too. Like his hair, his head is barely coming over.
The baby's in my arms, you know. But yeah, I this is just a blast for me every single week. Give me a follow on Instagram, Comic Sam's Collects. I can't wait for the next one that we're gonna do. It'll be fun.
Yeah, man. I mean, I absolutely love doing this. I mean, it's a nice venture to be able to talk to everybody, get everybody's opinions, seeing what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and you know, recent topics, new topics, old topics. It's always fun, and you know, it's always fun to have the comic book crowd always kind of hang around, and we get to hear what they get to say and what they feel about what we're talking about, and get their opinion towards stuff. So it's always fun. It's always a good time.
Yes. Thank you to everyone who tunes in. Thanks for everyone who watches, follows this content. Honestly, these conversations that we have on these feeds, this is conversations that we have when we log off of Tuesday streams. This is telephone conversations that we have, like off the cuff. So, you know, again, the fact that you guys find this entertaining and you tune in, we appreciate you all. You know, you guys are what drives Comic Sense. And yeah, that's what I got.
What I am excited for before you log off is at some point, one of these Fridays, we're going to be bringing you all a live chat, all of us in the same room from Kingpin Comics. Local to Buffalo, New York.
Nice.
We're going to sit down with Justin, the shop owner, talk some shop, learn a little bit about his journey into opening up his own store and his experience in the Buffalo comic world and the scene here. I'll probably show off a couple really cool books. Who knows? We might even make those available for the community here.
We're gonna eat some pizza. We're gonna play some games. We're gonna talk comics. We're gonna have fun. Awesome. We're gonna kick it with y'all, and we're gonna bring y'all into that world. It's gonna be really cool. Really, really cool. Shout out to Kingpin Comics. Shout out to Justin Kingpin Matthews, fixture in the Western New York comic community for a lot of years. Really appreciate him. So we're gonna do that. That having been said, listen, we wanted this to be a topic-driven show, and I'm sure it's going to get there, but this community is so awesome. We love interacting with you. We love kicking it with you. We love addressing your comments. So, yeah, it kind of organically goes where it's going to go, and that is what it is. That's because the Comic Sense crowd community crew is so awesome. And make sure you like and follow Comic Sense on Facebook. And join our Comic Sense Facebook group. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us at Comic Sense on Instagram and the Twitter. Y'all are awesome. On behalf of Comic Sam, Rich Doesn't Read, Ian Michaels, I am Issue X. This has been comiXsensory Perception. Y'all tune in next week for episode 6.
Absolutely. Guys, have a great weekend, man.